Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. My name is Chuck Solanas, and I'm joined by our special guest, I guess co-host now, Dr. Jacob Kashiwagi.
Hi, Chuck.
Hello. Excited to have you on for another week, another season. Whew. It's going to be exciting.
Good to be back.
Yeah. And now I got a tag team with Jake Gano, Dr. Jake. And that's going to be real cool. So yeah, we're excited to start this new season up and should be good. So how have you been, Dr. Jacob? Have you been busy?
Yes, we've been really busy. But
okay.
It's been a good busy.
That's positive, right?
Yeah, programs are going well. We have great students, and we're doing some really innovative things, I think. So it's been really good.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's dive into it. I know you've been working with students, helping them with success coaching, and different problems come up. And so I have felt comfortable sharing different problems that I'm going through because it's just an example of a way in which you can coach students or even adults on how they can overcome certain things that are going on in their life using the logic that you teach. So sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Let's get into a big topic today. Now it's about TV watching. So I have actually talked about this before in a previous podcast. And you can compare if you want. It's on the season 1, but I really enjoy watching or even listening to TV shows. Lately, I've been watching anime, which opens a whole new world, right? Like Aladdin, but not in Japanese Aladdin, I guess. So I've watched or listened through probably hundreds of hours of TV just in the past month. So some people would say that's excessive, but I'm a data analyst, and a lot of times I'm just working on like pulling numbers and stuff so I can listen to different TV shows and still be working at the same time. But lately, after work, I still feel like this need or urge to watch TV. So this time I'm visually engaging as well as in the audio. But I feel like I should be doing something else. I mean, like I could be doing, like during my time at work, I could be listening to like a podcast, or because I'm religious, I feel guilty that I'm not listening to religious talks or scriptures during that time. When I'm done working, I don't go and work out, and I'm not creating music with my free time, even though I say to myself, oh, I want to become a music producer. And so I just end up like not appreciating myself for how I spend my time. And I guess I cast a lot of judgment, like, oh, you should be spending your time differently. So I guess, what is your opinion of all of this? What should I be thinking? Is this unreasonable how I'm thinking right now?
Okay, so first, I make it a point never to judge someone else's life, because you just never know, what they're going through exactly, what they've been through, where they're at, what they need in their life to, keep moving. Sometimes people are going through some stressful issues, sometimes minor, sometimes major. So the first thing is, when someone like you or anyone else comes to me, I never judge them. So whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, obviously everything's in the past since we're starting from right now. And whatever you've done in the past, it's what you needed to do. Okay? So that's the first thing going through my mind. The second thing going through my mind is, well, you are having these thoughts. You have these feelings about what you're doing, and you have them for a reason. Right? So, when you do something and after you do it, you feel like, I should have done something better. You have that little voice on your shoulder saying, I should be doing something better. Well, that's your body, you as a person naturally recognizing to yourself that a change needs to take place. So you're right. If you're having those thoughts, if you weren't having those thoughts, it'd be fine. You don't have those thoughts, then hey, no change is needed. Unless something majorly you recognize is going wrong. Obviously you recognize something, so you're having these thoughts of, I probably should change. And whenever you have those thoughts, it's a good thing. And so should you make a change in your life? Probably. That's your thoughts are probably telling you it's about time that you make a change right now. It could have been okay in the past because you needed it, but right now you probably need to make a change.
Got it. Okay, so if I'm having these thoughts, I'm thinking, well, I probably should be doing something different, but then I just don't feel motivated to do anything else. So there's all these different ideas of what I could be doing with my time, but then I actually don't ever do it. So.
Now this and this is funny because it's really common. It happens to everybody, even myself. The issue we come into is when you start having these thoughts that you need to change, then you need to make a change. But oftentimes we want to make a big change. You want to go from watching hours of TV and anime to watching nothing. But that's not going to happen. And it could happen for a bit, maybe for a long bit, but eventually something's going to catch up with you. Because whether it's a physical thing or a mental thing, people just can't make really big changes. Or most people can't make really big changes sustainably. I think we found that out from watching The Biggest Loser. People losing a lot of weight really quickly. They end up finding out most of the contestants, they gain the weight back.
Really?
Yeah, very few of them are able to keep the weight off after, even though they go through such effort to lose the weight so quickly. It's so hard to be able to keep that going forever, for a long sustainable time. And so people need to remember, when you feel you need to make a change, especially a big change like that, that's going to change hours of your time, you can't make it very quickly because you want it to be sustainable. When you make the change, you want to make sure you make it for the rest of your life. And that's not going to be a quick thing. So now we have to go and we have to make a little change. And so instead of thinking of all these ideas you could do, you got to make it simple, right? Because when things are simple, kind of like with, the lesson of all of our podcasts, the more simple it is, you don't have to think about it. It comes more naturally, the more likelihood you're going to make the change. So you got to make it simple for yourself. Identify one thing, one little thing, right? Maybe instead of watching TV for, 10 hours a day, then you tell yourself at this time, or, whatever is the easiest for you, well, whenever is the easiest, right? You find the best time and doing the easiest thing you can do, and you say, okay, I'm going to spend 15 minutes of my time every day, and I'm going to do this. And you want to read something, whatever. Say, okay, instead of watching the show for 5 hours, I'm going to watch the show for maybe 4 hours and 45 minutes. And the 15 minutes, you know exactly what you're going to do. And you make it easy. You're going to read the book, you got the book right there by your computer where you're watching your anime. Right? So pick up your book, read for 15 minutes, and you don't have to think about it. You know exactly what you're doing. And the more you do that, these little changes, then you're going to start finding out that you're going to be able to get off of, whatever you're doing, or to make the changes that you need to.
Okay, so if you make small changes, you feel that that is more effective than a big change. Like if I'm addicted to television, which I don't know if I am or not, maybe, and I go through like 100% cut it, like no TV whatsoever, you're saying that's not going to work for a long period of time. There's a reason that you were doing it. And if you cut it all at once, you're going to leave the hole where it was. And there's something that needed to be there. And that's why it was part of your life, right?
Yes, very few people can cut it out and make a change and make it permanent.
Right. So for it to be a more permanent change, not saying that it has to be a permanent change, but if I wanted to make a more permanent change, then I would need to make these slow but steady changes. Like, all right, I'm going to cut it down this amount, this amount, this amount. And to the point that I feel comfortable, and then finally it's out, but I feel comfortable with it.
Yes, and part of the reason it needs to be small or slow is mainly getting to the fact that it has to be easy for you. If it's too hard, you're not going to do it. If you have to think about it, you're not going to do it. So by cutting it down, eliminating options, you're making it easier for your mind. You're saying, what of these 10 activities should I do that are all really tough? Mine's not going to do any of them. But if you got one really simple, easy one, you know exactly when you're supposed to do it. It's really easy to do it at that time. Everything's very accessible. It's really a simple thing, so it's not a big change, right? Usually that becomes very easy, and when it's easy, you're more likely to do it.
Okay. If I go back and think to myself, well, I really don't like any of the activities that I do with my free time. Really don't like myself because of what I've done. What do you tell to someone like that?
Well, then you have to find an activity that they want to do. And that's probably the reason why they haven't changed. That's probably why you haven't done any of the other activities, because if you don't really want to do them, then there's no real reason not to watch TV anymore. Right? If there's nothing else that you want to do more than watch TV, you're going to watch TV. And that's really the thing. And this is what they find with a lot of addictions, that it's better that you focus on trying to do something you want to do instead of just trying to stop the action you need to stop. Because you're right, as you use it, there is a void when you stop doing that activity that you needed in your life. But if you're doing something else that you enjoy more, then you will find it's easier to get rid of the things that you shouldn't do or you don't want to do anymore in your life. So we need to find something you enjoy doing.
All right, that makes sense. I just trying to think, what do I enjoy more than TV right now? And it's
I guess I'm doing this podcast because we started doing this podcast again, and yeah, and you're not watching TV right now.
hey, I'm making it.
This could be the small change that gets you from, watching TV to not watching TV.
Making big steps in the world. All right.
Small steps, small changes lead to big changes. Right?
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for the advice and walking through this situation with me. Thank you, listeners, for listening and viewers for watching. Have a good day.